2022 GMC Terrain AT4 review. This crossover can bring new buyers to the brand. GMC has updated their popular entry-level Terrain SUV for the 2022 model year. This volume seller from General Motors truck and SUV brand has a lot of tough competition, especially as consumers continue to move away from sedans and flock towards midsize crossovers and compact SUVs, like this one. With more standard tech and the inclusion of a more rugged AT4 trim level, the Terrain should be the gateway for younger buyers, as well as ones likely new to the GMC brand, looking for a more luxurious, yet relatively affordable way to live the sort of outdoorsy and adventurous lifestyle that appeals to millennials, the key demographic for Terrain. What does the AT4 bring to the table? Adventure is out there. Get after it. That is what GMC's website says when you look at their AT4 lineup of vehicles. After all, vehicles like the Sierra 1500 AT4 have lifted suspensions, chunky tires, locking differentials, all crucial components for a good off-road ready rig. Following that tagline is the claim that AT4 vehicles have capability that's ready to take you to places your boundless sense of adventure can imagine. The Terrain doesn't get the same hardware upgrades that some other AT4 models do. Instead, it makes do with smaller, easier to implement upgrades, like a front skid plate and slightly more aggressive Goodyear Wrangler Fortitude tires. There is also a drive mode selector in this AT4 trim that now features an off-road mode. It may not have a locking rear diff, like the more rugged Jeep Cherokee Trailhawk, but a new off-road mode modifies the ABS and electronic brake force distribution system logic to better let the AWD system put those tires to good use. How does it drive? On a mild trail outside of Los Angeles, the Terrain had no problem sliding around in the dusty stuff and tackling mild grades. With the same 7.9 inches of ground clearance as other AWD-equipped Terrain models, it should come as no surprise that this is not some intense rock crawling machine, but it will certainly prove capable enough when urbanites and suburbanites alike head to their favorite hiking trailheads. With these relatively simple changes, the GMC Terrain AT4 feels very similar in spirit to competitors like the Toyota RAV4 TRD Off-Road. Neither vehicle compromises any of their on-road civility for any additional off-road capability. Realistically, Terrain has more than enough off-road prowess for how 99% of buyers will plan on using it. That's why things make a lot more sense with the Terrain once back on the pavement. Terrain has a 1.5-liter four-cylinder engine at its disposal that produces 170 horsepower and 203 lb-ft of torque. Power goes to all four wheels via a 9-speed automatic transmission. This combination is good for EPA fuel economy ratings of 25 mpg city, 28 mpg freeway, and 26 mpg combined, which is in line with most of the GMC's competition. This setup proved eager enough in around-town driving, thanks to the 9-speed transmission offering a lot of flexibility. At higher speeds, the Terrain's pace falters as the small turbo spins up hard to give what power it does have. GMC previously offered Terrain with the option of a 2.0-liter turbo engine that produced 252 horsepower, but dropped it a few years ago, which is certainly disappointing. Some die-hard GMC fans may bristle at the mention of it, but for most buyers, the AT4 trim is more about the visual upgrades than any hardware tweaks. It gets the blackout treatment on the wheels, mirrors and door trims, with other bits, like the grille, getting a cool shadow chrome effect. Terrain is a handsome rig, and the exterior tweaks for 2022, which include full LED headlights, LED taillights, and revised bumpers certainly do tie it in visually with other larger GMC models, like the Yukon. Though, cabin refinement is the real name of the game with Terrain. The fully independent suspension, struts up front and a multi-link rear, is set up for comfort, and the interior is surprisingly quiet, even at freeway speeds thanks to an acoustically laminated windshield and an ample amount of insulation around high-noise areas like the front doors and windows. Also updated for 2022 is the interior, which receives some solid tech upgrades. A 7-inch infotainment display is standard equipment, though a $1,180 infotainment package 2 upgrade sees screen size bumped to 8 inches, along with the addition of a 7-speaker Bose audio system. Wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto connectivity is standard in Terrain, regardless of options or trim level. Ease of use, all around, is great thanks to GMC using the latest version of GM's infotainment interface. Additional luxuries include heated leather seats, along with a leather-wrapped heated steering wheel. There is also $1,495 worth of Skyscape sunroof, which is one of the largest panoramic sunroof systems I have ever seen. A few cheap plasticky bits feel at odds with the entry-level premium image GMC is trying to portray with Terrain. On the upside, at 6 feet 1 inch, yours truly fits comfortably in every seat, and with 30 cubic feet of trunk space, it's capacious as well. Should I buy a GMC Terrain? The hang-up to all of this is the price. With a base MSRP of $31,295 and as-tested price of $39,810, the Terrain is a pricey proposition. A comparably equipped Chevrolet Equinox, which shares the same underpinnings as the Terrain, rings in at about $4,000 less and is almost as nice, with a very similar interior layout and array of comforts, conveniences and technology. The business case gets even more tricky when looking beyond the offerings of the General, with green alternatives, like the Hyundai Tucson plug-in hybrid, or more sporting offerings, like the Mazda CX-50, coming in at the same price point and offering more bang for the buck. On the upside, it does undercut the price of the aforementioned RAV4 TRD off-road by about $2,000, when equipped apples to apples. The updated 2022 GMC Terrain is handsome, comfortable, and spacious, but lacking a bit of the refinement one would expect at its price point. It's a solid effort, overall, and will certainly appease brand loyalists, even if it might not quite convince other would-be buyers to switch brands and jump on the GMC train.